and let me know once you complete. Sorry, just a moment. All right. So, Aditi, okay, you were also able to complete. The length is 4. Now, can you tell me how many such uh, subsequences will be there? How many such common subsequences will be there? Do we have only one or do we have more than one? How many such common subsequences are there? One only. Okay. More than one? Actually, the answer is more than one. It's not just one. All right. I'll tell you also how to find them using the table that we have. Okay. Now, if you know, Aditi, can you tell me exactly how many of these will be there? You've got 3. Anybody else? Right. Anybody else? 4. Gayatri and Harshita, what about you both? Four. All right. So what I'm going to do is I already have built the solution for everyone. Okay. So this is the table we obtained. All right. This is the table we obtained. So what we are going to focus is on this part. Okay, I'm just going to focus on this part, and I'm going to tell you how many such possible uh, your four length LCS, longest common subsequences, will be there. Okay, for length 4. So one thing is, what you do is you start at 4. Okay, you start at 4. Now remember what you have to find what is the exact length. I mean, what are the letters which should be included in the common subsequence. What you have to do is, when you're at 4, you check the leftmost and the topmost. Okay, if these two are same, you check the diagonal one. If diagonal one is one less, that means what? That means was this guy was derived. This guy was derived because of this guy. Correct? This is how you derive now, because q and q were same and you derive this guy. So what you'll do is you'll take this path. You take this path. Okay, and when you take a diagonal path, always write it over here. So first is q. Okay, first is q. All right, now I have a 3 over here, 3 over here. Now if you see, now since these two are same, what I'll do is I'll check the diagonal part. Okay, now diagonal part is also same, so that means this 3 came because of any of these two. Correct? So from here I have two paths. Okay, from here I have two paths. Okay, so first one is from this to this, second one is from this to this. Okay, I mean the diagram is a little small. Wait, let me just try and see if I can. Okay, let me just focus. Okay, we are at 3 comma 3. Now we have two paths. Now let's say I'm at this 3. Okay, I'm at this 3. So from here I'll check my, again the same thing is happening. So again I have two paths, from here to here or from here to here. Correct? Now from here, see, if I go this and check this 3, this 3 has up also 3, right, left also 3, but this is 2. Okay, so this is coming out to be one case. So now this is coming out to be a case where I have to write it. So with q I have what, one part is with q I'll have m. Okay, because this is the decrement happening. All right, so I'll write the value of m. Okay, now you continue like this, and when you are at 2, these three values are same. So what you do is you go over here, either this or this you take. All right, so now when you are at this, again you take 1 or 2, so you'll go up. Okay, and when you are over here, you can go either this. Okay, because these two are same, so you'll go up. So one is f I get. Now when you are at here with this path, when you are at here, now it is 1 and 1, and this is 1, so we'll go at this part. So f is also selected. So in these two cases, f is selected. We are going two lines in parallel. Okay, now when you take 1, there are many options now. Okay, so either you can continue. Did you understand what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to find different paths for me to reach from 4 to 0. That's my goal. I have to reach from 4 to 0. I'm trying to find all the possible paths in which I can go. Is this clear? Yes or no? Right. So now another shortcut is, if the paths are too lengthy enough, what you what you do it, if the paths are too lengthy, what you do, just take your common subsequences. Okay, and and manually try to find all the subsequences of length 4. Okay, because we know 4 is the longest common subsequence length. Okay, try to find all possible values which have 4. Okay, so I start with q, and then m, and then f was there, and then after f I have either c or b. Correct? So I can have f, bf, mq. I have cf, mq. Okay, these are the two things I can have. I can have hf, mq also. Right? So this is one possible value. All right, let me see what I have written. So cf and q. HG. Okay, I have written many. Okay, so I think there will be many longest subsequences, not just three. I just written I think three, but there will be many. Okay, so these are first three. Then you take Qn you can take, and F also you can take. Okay, FQN, and again you can have HBC. Okay, so it's like HFNQ and then BFNQ and CFNQ. So is this clear? What kind of all common different common subsequences you will have all of length 4? This is how you can maintain. The problem is there are too many of them over here, so that's why the table that we have obtained, it's becoming really complicated. If there were 3 or 4, then it would have been easier for us. All right, this is how you can find common subsequences also. I think we'll do a gate problem. This has come where they told to find the length also and common subsequences also, number of possible common subsequences. All right. Okay, so any doubts to anyone in this? Okay. So before I move on to the next algorithm, I just want to point out a small thing in Dijkstra's algorithm. If you remember, I told in Dijkstra's algorithm, if you have a negative edge-weighted cycle, okay, then I told you that Dijkstra's algorithm is not valid. Correct? This point is right. Okay, Dijkstra's will not be valid. Okay, but now I told you if the negative weight is there, negative edge of an edge with negative weight, so then the Dijkstra's algorithm will work. Okay, so the thing over here is little modification. The standard Dijkstra's algorithm will not work. Okay, because what will it will do is, let's say if this weight is -2, here the value of this edge is let's say 8, and the value of this edge is let's say 9. Okay, so now what happened is it will again take this edge as the path and decrease the value to 7. Okay, it will again, this edge when it comes, it will again take this path and decrease this value to 5, this value to 3, this value to 1, and so on. This will continue happening. Is this point clear? I'm not talking about the modification. I told you that we can keep a visited array. Visited array means you'll not refer any edge back. So this problem will not be there. Neither negative edge weighted cycle nor negative edge. All right, because once you have weighted something, you're not going to go over that again. But in standard Dijkstra's algorithm, without the visited array, this is going to happen. All right. So if I talk about standard Dijkstra's algorithm, negative edges as well as negative edge weighted cycles, both are not allowed. Is this point clear to everyone? And this is the reason, because if you keep on visiting the edge, see, Dijkstra's is a greedy algorithm. So Dijkstra's, uh, you can say, the goal of this algorithm is to keep reducing the value of the nodes, okay, as far as it's possible. Okay, so if we have a negative edge weight, so Dijkstra's algorithm will try to run over that negative edge width infinite number of times so that it keeps decreasing the value of the edge weight. So this point is clear to everyone. All right. Okay, so this was LCS, and LCS is an important algorithm. Okay, the diagram is also very important, the table, how you draw the table. All right, so there are a few more algorithms that we'll see in dynamic programming. The next one is an important one, which is known as all pair shortest path. Okay, so all pair shortest path. So we'll understand what is the problem that we are trying to solve here. In Dijkstra's, the algorithm is that we have to solve single, so we have to find the single, I mean, the path from all the vertices up to a single node, right? So, sorry, from a single node, I have to find the path to all the vertices, right? So that's why it is called single source shortest path. Okay, so from you decide, okay, this is my source, and from there you're going to find what is the shortest path from this source to remaining vertices in the graph. Okay, now here what we are doing is we are trying to find the shortest path between any two nodes. So the problem you can name it like you have to run Dijkstra's on every vertex. If you run Dijkstra's on every vertex, you get smallest part between any two vertices. And that's what we are looking for. Okay, so this is the problem statement that we have. The problem is to find shortest distance between every pair of vertices in a given undirected or directed graph. Okay, it can be undirected, directed, anyone. Right. So now, before I teach you the algorithm, now can you tell me what will be the time complexity if I run Dijkstra's algorithm on every such vertex? And let's say assume that okay, fine. Tell me. Just take V as the vertices and E as the edges. You all remember the time complexity for Dijkstra's algorithm? Just consider anyone. Okay, Sanjeev, E plus V log V for which was for which adjacency matrix? Adjacency list. Are you sure it was E plus V log V? All right. Okay. Okay. All right. So what about fine. Let's keep it this one. Now, Bellman-Ford also gives the same thing, correct? But Bellman-Ford overcomes the negative weight problem, right? So what was the time complexity in case of Bellman-Ford algorithm? Sanjeev, it won't matter, na? Bellman-Ford, I told you that it is order of V into E, right? Doesn't matter if you're using adjacency list or matrix because it will just run for all the vertices, all the edges, number of times as number of the vertices in the graph. Yeah. Okay. So let me just write it down. Okay. So if you run Dijkstra's, okay, Dijkstra's, this is taking order of E plus V log V time. Okay. This is once. Okay. Now, if you're going to run it n time, v times for all the vertices, this will give you the all pair shortest path, right? So this will take order of v into e plus v square log v, correct? Okay. Now, if you run Bellman-Ford, Bellman-Ford once was taking order of v into e time. Now, if you run it for v vertices, is equal to what? Order of v into e. That means order of V square E. Sanjeev, what is V cube? Time complexity for all pair shortest path, are you saying? Bellman-Ford algorithm on all pair shortest path or single source? This one or this one? Yeah, so this is V into E, na? Now E at max can be what? E at max can be order of V square, right? So this will be V cube, right? Worst case, it can go up to V cube. All right. So now what I'm saying is, if you are going to apply Bellman-Ford on V vertices to find the all pair shortest path, what is going to happen is the time complexity whole of this thing will be multiplied by V. All right. So this becomes order of V square into E, or you can say in worst case, it will take order of V raised to power 4. Okay. So now these are the two time complexities. One is this and the other one is that. Okay. These two time complexities are the ones if you are planning to apply V times Dijkstra's algorithm and V times Bellman-Ford algorithm to make sure that you are able to solve the problem of all pair shortest path. All right. So if you see these complexities are little more. Okay. Now I have an algorithm, okay, which is called Floyd-Warshall's, and it actually completes everything in order of V cube time. Okay. Order of V cube time. Okay. Independent, and the important part is it is independent of the number of edges that are there in the graph. It is independent of the number of edges which are there in the graph. All right. Is the story behind this clear to everyone? Why we need a better algorithm? All right. So now we are going to just see the algorithm first. We'll read it and then I'll tell you to solve problems because, okay, remember one more few things. One is uh, Floyd-Warshall algorithm. Second is longest common subsequence. Okay. And third, you can consider 0-1 knapsack. These three problems have been really asked in GATE exam. Okay. One, I think 2 to 3 times. All right. Each of them. So you can definitely expect a question. So if I say algorithms in algorithm, which parts are important apart from your data structures and all, excluding MST. Okay. So in greedy algorithm, minimum spanning tree is the one which will be which is asked very frequently. Okay. Dynamic programming, LCS is there, 0-1 knapsack is there, Floyd Warshall is there, and then your uh, this thing is there. We still have one problem, coin problem. Okay. That kind of problem is there. Okay. And the greedy one is there. Then one more important problem is your Dijkstra's algorithm, Dijkstra's and all. Okay, part of minimum spanning tree, everything. Okay, and then few of the problems in the beginning that we did for greedy algorithms are okay, but they are not really important. Hoffman is important. Okay, and then your divide and conquer. So you know now what kind of problems can be asked in the gate and how do they ask them. Okay, the problems will be mostly either based on time complexity or on application. They'll give you some scenario and they'll ask you find the optimal solution. All right, this is how they'll ask the problem. They'll not say define the optimal structure and so on. All right. Okay, so this is one problem which has lot of questions in gate exam, and those are application based questions. Okay, so let's first understand how to run this algorithm. Okay, so first is you draw a V cross V array. Okay, so your number of rows are V, number of columns are V, and each value in that array, or you can say matrix, 2D matrix, each value in that 2D matrix represent the distance between those two nodes. Okay, so that means if I draw 1 2 3 4 and 1 2 3 4. Okay, so this if I say 2 comma 3, so this value represents the shortest distance between 2 to 3. Okay, shortest distance between 2 2, 3, 2 to 3, this is the value over here. All right. So now what they are saying is minimum distance is initialized to infinity. So what you'll do is for all the values in this 2D matrix, you will initialize their values to infinity. All right, you're going to initialize this as infinity. Once you do that, now one thing you do is see, because we are talking about simple graphs, in simple graphs self loops are not allowed. Okay, since self loops are not allowed, distance from 1 to 1 or 2 to 2, 3 to 3 will be 0, and this is why I have initialized this as 0. Okay, for every edge do this v comma v. Okay, so distance between every pair 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3 and 4 to 4, you have to initialize this as 0, and this part actually initialize all the weights which are given in the graph. Okay, so basically you're using your adjacency matrix as the representation of the graph and trying to solve it. All right, so if a weight has infinity value, that means there is no direct edge between them in the initial 2D matrix that you have. If some value has infinity, that means there's no direct edge present, direct or undirected. I mean, there's no connection between those two nodes. All right. So these are the few initializations that I've done. If you have any doubts, please ask me in the initializations part. We'll do problem also. Okay. But let's just try and first understand the algorithm. Now this is the key point. So what you're doing is for ijk is equal to v to n. Okay. This is the key point. If the distance, this is your 2D matrix between I and j is greater than I to k and k to j. So basically something like this. Node I is there, node j is there. There is some distance between them. Okay. Let's say this is 12. All right. Now imagine something like some node k is there. Okay. So from this node to this node, here you have let's say 5 and here let's say 3. So that means if the direct distance is greater than the distance from I to k and from k to j, then what you'll do is you'll update this distance to update in the matrix. Now you'll update this distance to 8. Okay. So that means you have found a shorter path between two pair of vertices. So you will update the distance. Okay. And as whenever you'll update the distance, you'll complete it. So basically you are doing this for all pairs. That means for all values in the matrix, you're trying to do this. Okay, fine. So is the basic algorithm okay? Let me just give you an example also, then I'll ask you the question. Okay, so let's say this is the example. All right, now this is your initial distance matrix. Okay, and wherever you have a distance, like from 0 to 1 there is an edge, so from 0 to 1 you'll put 5. Okay, from 1 to 3 you have 3, so 1 to 3 is edge weight 3. 2 to 3 you have 1, 2 to 3 you have 1, and then from 0 to 3 you have 10, 0 to 3 I have 10. Apart from that, all of them are infinity and these 0, because self loops are not allowed in a simple graph. Okay, so these are 0. Yes, clear to everyone? This is the initial graph. Now you'll use this graph to build the next graph. Now I'll teach you how to apply that even with a little bit more speed. That part, this part of the code, how to apply this part of the code with a faster speed. Okay. So what you'll do is in this code, what they were saying is start from k, from starting from the first node. Okay, till the last vertex. What you'll do is you'll first assign k equal to 0. Okay, k is equal to 0. Now you'll k equal to 0, and now you're going to draw the matrix again. Okay, same 1 2 3 4 0 1 2 3 and 0 1 2 3. All right, same things. Now from 0 to now the path, see what you have to check is you have to check whether this path from 0 to 0 path is greater than from. Okay, so let me not take from 0 to 0. Let's say the path that we'll check is, let's say from 0 to 2 you are going. Okay, so we'll check from 0 to 2, is it greater than from 0 to 0 plus from 0 to 2, because this is k, right? You're going through k every time. That means every node you're going, you'll go to the node 0, and then you're going to come back from k to that the other node. All right. So first is these values will remain 0. Okay, they'll not change. All right. Now from 0 to 1. So 0 to 1, the path is what? 5. Okay. Now you go from 0 to 0 and from 0 to 1. From 0 to 0 and from 0 to 1. So that means this value is 0, this value is 0 to 1 is 5. So no change over here. Okay, this is 5. Now 0 to 2 is infinity. So from 0 to 0 and from 0 to 2, this is also infinity. Okay, so what I'm trying to, one shortcut that you can apply is, whenever your k is 0, whatever your value of k is, that particular row and column will not get modified. Okay, so you can just write this as infinity, 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 and infinity. Guys, okay, I'll stop till this point. Anyone having any doubts? The shortcut is, whenever you have some value of k, okay, that particular row and that particular column will not change. All right. So now I'll go ahead and do for 1 and 2, 1 comma 2. So now 1 comma 2 is what? 1 to 2, they are going for with cost 3. Okay. So 1 to 0 and 0 to 2. Yeah, this is good. 1 to 2 is this, and I want to find 1 to 0 and plus 0 to 2. So 1 to 0 is what? 1 to 0 is infinity. This is infinity. This is 3. So this value is 3. This is already less, correct? This is already less. So that means this will not get modified. This is 3 only, because this guy became infinity. Alright. So the next thing is, you check from 1 to 3. Now 1 to 3 is 1 to 0 and 0 to 3. So 1 to 0 is what? Again infinity. So again infinity, and this is infinity. So you keep infinity over here. Now would you like to fill up these? Okay, let me just fill up this matrix. Okay. So now this value 2 to 1. So 2 to 0 and 0 to 1. 2 to 0 is what? Infinity. Okay. And 0 to 1 is 5. So it is infinity only. This becomes infinity, no change. Now from 2 to 3. So from 2 to 3, you have value 1. So 2 to 0. 2 to 0 is infinity. So 1 is there. Alright. So now 3 to infinite. 3 to 1. Okay. So 3 to 0. 3 to 0 is infinity. So no change. Again 3 to 0 is infinity. So no change. Okay. So after one iteration, this is the graph that we have obtained. Right. Now, what is this? The graph that I have got. This is the graph, right? Now this graph represents when you included vertex a equal to 0 as the intermediate vertex between every pair of nodes. Okay. Now you do the same thing. Now you include vertex 1. Okay. Vertex 1. And this means, see, this means what? This is important. This means the distance for when you include both 0 and 1, because you're creating it from 0 and you're going till 1. Okay. So that means you have included both 0 and 1 in this piece of code. All right. So vertex 0 and 1 both are included. This part is clear to everyone, right? So now can you include every vertex and try to draw this matrix and get finally what is the answer? Guys, now can you try it? Okay, just try to get D2. Just try to get this matrix. Harshita and Gayatri, have you completed? Okay. Okay. All right. So let's see. Now, it's actually boring if I just, if since I've drawn the solution, it's boring for me to solve. Okay. So let me solve from D2. Okay. This is the graph that I obtained 8 and 10, infinity, 0, 3, and infinity, 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 0, and 1, infinity, 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 and 0. Right. So this is your D2. That means vertex k is considered and 0 is considered, 1 is considered. Now I'll consider 2. Okay, k equal to 2. Now see what the graph is. So 0, 1, 2, and 3. 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, fine. Now, so that means what? One thing is these values will not change, correct? And the second row will not change, and second column will not change. So a, 3, infinity, and infinity, infinity, and 1. Now, can you tell me why second column will not change? Anyone? Why I told that second column will not change, so just put the values. This is good to do when you're trying to compute because you have 4 5 matrices. You have a lot of matrices to compute. Just an optimization. So see, why the shortcut will apply is if I say k is equal to 2, that means, and let's say I'm going from 3, okay? I'm going to 3. From any value at 2, I'm going to 3, okay? That means 2 to 3 would be, and then the second value is 2 to 2 plus 2 to 3. Basically, you're trying to add something to the current value. Okay, so that means the worst case is you'll add 0 to the current value. So these values are not going to affect. All right, so this is why no update is required when you're at the kth row or kth column. Right, that's the shortcut key. Okay, so now from 0 to 1, I want to see. We see from 0 to 1 as 0 to 2 and 2 to 1. So 0 to 2 is 8 and from 2 to 1 is infinity. No, so I still have 5. 5 is smaller, so I'll keep 5. From 0 to 3, 0 to 3, 0 to 2, which is 8. Okay, and from 2 to 3, 2 to 3 is 1. Yes. So I got 9, right? 8 plus 1, 9, which is less than 10. So I'll update this as 9. So this is the updated value. Alright. The next thing is 1 to 0. So 1 to 2 and 2 to 0. 1 to 2 is 3 and 2 to 0 is infinity. Yeah, so this is infinity again. Now from 1 to 3. So 1 to 2 and 2 to 3. 1 to 2 is 3. 2 to 3 is 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. So this is modified as 4. This is another value which is being modified. Alright. So now what you do is you check from 3 to 0. So 3 to 2, 2 to 0. 3 to 2, infinity. So just keep infinity. And 3 to 1. 3 to 2, 3 to 2 is again infinity, keep it infinity. Right? So this is my D3 graph. D1 obtained, D2 obtained, D3 obtained. So now I have included my List of vertices that I have considered are 0, 1, 2. Similarly, you can draw the fourth one, and this is the final answer that you're getting. Okay, D4. This is the final answer that you're getting. All right. So what this means is, once you have been able to cover all the vertices, okay, once you have been able to cover all the vertices, there won't be any requirement to do anything else from here, and whatever values you get. So 8 represents what? 8 represents the minimum distance between 0 to 2, considering all possibilities. Okay, 8 represents the minimum distance from 0 to 2, considering all possibilities. Okay, similarly 3 represents the minimum distance from 1 to 2. 1 represents the minimum distance from 2 to 3. Now, did you understand this matrix, how to draw it, and what is the significance of these values? What is the meaning of these values? All right. So let's do one thing. Let's try to solve some problems on this. Okay. Let's try to solve some problems. Now try this one. Try the first one, and then we'll discuss the first one. Then you can try the second one. Okay. We'll try one by one. Guys, meanwhile you complete, let me just also at least draw the first. Initial matrix is 1 to 2, 1 to 2 is there, wait, 1 to 2 is not there. Now 1 to 3 is there with a weight -2, -2, and 1 to 2, nothing is there. Now with 2, you're going to 3 with a weight 3, and to 2, you're going to 1 with a weight 4. And 3, you are going to 4 with a weight 2. 3 to 4, 2. 4, you're going to weight 2 with -1. Apart from these, all are infinities. So this is 1 to 3, you're going with -2. 2 to 3, you're going with 3. 2 to 1, you're going with 4. This is 0. This is 0. This is 0. This is 0. Now 3 to 4, you're going with 2. 3 to 4, you're going with 2. And then 4 to 2, you're going with -1. 4 to 2, you're going with -1. Rest all are infinity. So how many? This is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I have covered. Yeah. Okay. So this is your initial vertex. Now you consider k equal to 1. That means vertex 1 I'm going to consider. So now the matrix will be what? Vertex 1 means this row will be as it is. Not modify at all. Okay. Next is 2 to 2. This will be 0. This will be 0. This will also not change. So 2 to 3. So 2 to 3 is 2 to 1, 1 to 3. 2 to 1 is 4, which is already greater than, okay, now the negative thing is also there, and 1 to 3, see, so 4 minus 2, this is modified to 2, yeah, right. So now it is 2 to 4 I want to consider. So 2 to 1 and 1 to 4. 2 to 1 is 4, 1 to 4 is infinity, so this is still infinity. Okay, so 3 to 2, 3 to 1, 1 to 2, 3 to 1 is infinity, so this will also not change. And 3 to 1 is again infinity, right? So this will also not change. So this will still remain 2. So 4 to 1, 4 to 2 I have to find. So 4 to 1, 1 to 2. 4 to 1 is infinity, so this will not change. And 4 to 1 is infinity, so this will also not change. Yeah. So this is the graph for K1. Okay. So let me just rub the above graph. Okay. And draw the graph for K2 over here. This is for K2 now. K2 means infinity, 0, infinity -1, 4, 2, infinity, 0, 0, 0. This makes our life very easy. Then we have very less values to actually change. So 1 to 3. So 1 to 2 and 2 to 3. 1 to 2 is infinity. So this is still less. Okay. 1 to 4. 1 to 4 is 1 to 2. 1 to 2 is infinity. So this is infinity. So 3 to 1, 3 to 2 and 2 to 1. 3 to 2 is what? Infinity. Okay, 3 to 2 is infinity, so no change here as well as here. Alright, so now 4 to 1. 4 to 1 is what? 4 to 2. 4 to 2 is -1. Yeah, this will change. 4 to 2 and 2 to 1. Okay, 4 to 2 is -1 and 2 to 1 is what? 2 to 1 is 4. So -1 plus 4 is 3. So 4 to 2 and 2 to 1. Okay, So 4 to 1, this is the shortcut, 3 is the value. Now 4 to 3. 4 to 3 is infinity. So 4 to 2, 1, 2 to 3. 4 to 2 is what? 4 to 2 is minus 1. 2 to 3 is what? 2. Minus 1 plus 2 is 1. This is the new graph. Alright. Let me know if something is wrong over here. Did you get K2 like this only, everyone? Okay. Now third row will be same. So minus 2, 2, 0 and 1. Infinity, infinity and 2. 0, 0, 0. So now the first value is 1 to 2. So now this is K2, K3. So 1 to 2 is 1 to 3, 3 to 2. 1 to 3 and 3 to 2. This is infinity minus 2, which is infinity only. No change. So 1 to 4 is 1 to 3, 3 to 4. 1 to 3, 3 to 4. So 2 minus 2 just is 0. Okay, 1 to 3 and 3 to 4 is 1 to 4. 0. Okay. Now is 2 to 1. 2 to 3 and 3 to 1. 2 to 3 is what? 2 to 3 is 2. 3 to 1. Right. 2 to 3 and 3 to 1. 3 to 1 is coming out to be infinity. So I'll not change this. Alright. Next thing is 2 to 4. 2 to 4. Yeah. So 2 to 3, 3 to 4. 2 to 3 is 2. Okay. 2 to 3 is 2. 2 to 3 and 3 to 4. 3 to 4 is what? 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. So you get 4 over. Right. This was infinity reduced to 4. Now I have 4 to 1. 4 to 3, 3 to 1. 4 to 3, 1. 3 to 1 is infinity. So this will be 3 only. Now 3 to 2. 4 to 3 and 3 to 2. So 4 to 3 is 1. And 3 to 2 is what? Infinity. So this will be minus 1. Alright. This is K3. Now last I'll do for K4. Alright. So K4. Now again the fourth row will remain same. 0, 4, 2, 0, 3, minus 1 and 1. Okay. This is again 0, again 0, again 0. So now 1 to 2, 1 to 4 and 4 to 2, 1 to 4, 4 to 2. 1 to 4 is 0, 4 to 2, 4 to 2 is minus 1, 0 minus 1 is minus 1, that's good. Now 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 4 to 3, 1 to 4, 1 to 4 is 0, 4 to 3 is what? 4 to 3 is 1, so this is also, previously it was what? Minus 2, no, so this will still remain minus 2 because we are getting 1. And minus 2 is a better path. It has even lesser value. 2 to 1, 2 to 4, 4 to 1. 2 to 4 is what? 2 to 4 is 4 and 4 to 1 is 3. 4 plus 3 is 7. So this will remain 4. Okay. 2 to 4, 2 to 4. Okay. And 4 to 1. 4 to 1. 4 plus 3 is 7. Yeah. Alright. So now 2 to 3 is there. 2 to 4, 4 to 3. 2, 4 and 4, 3. 4 plus 1, 5. And this is 2. So this is still reduced. Now 3 to 1. 3 to 4, 4 to 1. 3 to 4 is what? 3 to 4 is 2. And 4 to 1 is 3. This is 5. So yeah, this is a better one. Now 3 to 4, 4 to 2. 3 to 4, 4 to 2. Minus plus 1. Okay, 2 minus 1 is plus 1. So this is the final answer you're getting. Just check you are also getting the same answer. All right. Now, just a small thing. I have two more problems that I want to do for this. So, do you want to do both problems in homework, or do you want to solve one more in class? Second and third as well. Tell me, do you want to solve both as homework? Because I don't have answers in the notes. All right. So what you can do is, everyone. Now see, this is something I want from everyone. Question 2 and question 3 both are written in your notes. Okay, try to solve them and paste the answer in the discussion forum. Okay, in the discussion forum, try to tell me the answer for both. Anyone who still has any doubts regarding the execution of uh, Floyd version execution part. Actually, the thing is, same equation has to be used every time for all the values. Like VQ values, same equation you have to use. Right? Okay. So now we'll have little bit discussion on the space and time complexity. Okay. Although the space and time complexity are very straightforward in this case, this is the third one. Okay. Question 2 and question 3 are homework. Just try them and paste your solution and discussion forum. Then we can check. All right. Now, Floyd versus algorithm, the time complexity in all is same. Okay. Now, one thing that is important is Floyd Warshall can handle negative edge widths also. Okay. This is why it is a much better choice for than Dijkstra's algorithm, because in Dijkstra's algorithm, if in the shortest path a negative edge width is coming, it tends to not stop the standard algorithm, right? But Floyd Warshall could handle negative edge, so you don't have to do anything. See, why it can handle negative weights is because we are limiting the number of iterations. Okay. So after v iterations, that means once you start with your basic matrix and then you do v iterations. So once you have done v iterations, doesn't matter if there is some change more. Okay. If there's some more change, it will be able to stop without any problem. That's the standard Floyd-Warshall algorithm. All right. So now, what about the negative edge widths? It is even possible to modify this algorithm a bit with negative edge weighted cycle also. Now, can you tell me how will you do that? Standard fraud version has some problem with negative edge weight cycle. How will you? So, question is simple. How will you be able to identify whether your graph has negative edge weight cycle using Floyd-Warshall algorithm or not? Yeah. Using Floyd-Warshall algorithm, how will you be able to identify whether your graph has a negative edge-weighted cycle or not? Anybody has any idea? Think. distance from a vertex to itself is same as from some other vertex. Okay, you can say that, you can say that, but I have even a better way to identify, like even a shorter way. So what you do is just run Floyd-Warshall algorithm once. I mean, you ran till B vertices, right? Just run for one more time, okay? And if some update is happening, even after that, also some update is happening. That means some edge, okay, some edge has a negative weight such that there is a negative edge weight cycle being formed. So what is happening is, if after this, say let's say what I got this answer, okay, I got this answer, I'll run my Floyd-Warshall algorithm one more time, okay, one more time, and if there is a single update, there is a single update in any of the vertices, in any of the vertices, then you can definitely say that there is a negative edge weight cycle, okay. So I think, although I gave you question number 3 as homework, can you try question number 3 right now? See, this has a negative edge weight cycle. Can you just try this now? Everyone, please try question number 3. Try this one. It is there. See, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and 3 to 1. What is the sum of this cycle? Yes, yes, yes. See, negative edge weight is a different thing. Negative weighted cycle means that the combined sum of the cycle, of the weights of the cycle, which are weights that are included in the cycle, should be negative. So it will keep on taking the cycle again and again and try to reduce the value of the uh, edge, of the node, value of the node. That's how they are dangerous. And that's why they are dangerous. Well, let me also just try this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alright. So from 1, what are edges we have? 1 to 2 is minus 1. Alright. 1 to 5 is 8. 1 to 5 is 8. 1 to 4 is 10. Okay. And 5 is 8. 1 to 4 is 10. That's it. From 2, we have 2 to 3 is minus 2. 2 to 3 is this. Now, so from 3, we have 1. 3, 1 is 2. And what else? From 3, no more. From 4, we have 4 to 5 is 4. 4 to 5 is 4. That's it. And from 5 to 3 is 7. 5 to 3 is 7. Right? Now this is 0, this is 0, 0, 0, and 0. Alright? So these are infinities. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3. Alright? So I'll also do this in parallel. Since it's a long thing, you continue your solution. This is for k equal to 1. This becomes what? This will remain same. 2, infinity, infinity, minus 1, infinity, 10, 8. This is still 0. This is still 0. This is still 0, and this is still 0. So 2 to 1. 2 to 3 is 2 to 1, 1 to 3. 2 to 1 is infinity. Okay, so this is minus 2. So 2 to 4 is 2 to 1. This is also infinity, infinity. Okay. So now 3 to 2. 2 is 3 to 1, 1 to 2. 3 to 1 is 2, and 1 to 2 is minus 1. So this becomes 1. Now 3 to 4. 3 to 4, yeah. 3 to 4 is 3 to 1 and 1 to 4. 3 to 1, 1 to 4 is 10. So 12, yeah, 12. Now 3 to 5. 3 to 5 is 3 to 1, 1 to 5. 3 to 1 is 2. 1 to 5 is 8. 2 plus 8 is 10. Alright? So now 4 to 2. 4 to 2 is 4 to 1, 1 to 2. 4 to 1 is infinity. So this is first part is infinity, so it will not change anything. Okay, so now 5 to 2, 5 to 1. This is also infinity. This is infinity, 7 and infinity. So this is the first one. Alright. So let's see the second one now. Second one is both the columns as it is 0, 1, minus 1, 0, 1, infinity, infinity, infinity. Then you have 0, minus 2, infinity, infinity. And this is 0, this is 0, this is 0, and this is 0. So 1, 2, 3. Now this is k equal to 2. 1 to 3 is 1 to 2 and 2 to 3. 1 to 2 and 2 to 3. So minus 3. 1 to 2 and 2 to 3. Minus 3. Now 1 to 4. 1 to 2, 2 to 4. 1 to 2, 2 to 4. This is infinity only. So this is 10. This is still less value. Okay, 1 to 5. 1 to 2, 2 to 5. 1 to 2, 2 to 5. So this is also 8. No change over here. Now 3 to 1. 3 to 2 and 2 to 1. 3 to 2, 3 to 2 and 2 to 1. So this is infinity plus 1. So this is 2. This is still less. So we are not going to change. 3 to 4. 3 to 2, 2 to 4. 3 to 2 is this. 2 to 4. 2 to 4 is infinity. So this is 12. I don't need to change this. Now 3 to 5, 3 to 2, 2 to 5, 3 to 2, 2 to 5. This is infinity. I don't need to change this. So now 4 to 1, 4 to 2 and 2 to 1. 4 to 2, which is infinity. So we'll keep this as infinity only. Alright. So now it's 4 to 3. 4 to 3 is 4 to 2 and 2 to 1. So this will also not change, infinity and 4. Next is 5 to 2. 5 to 2 is infinity. So nothing will change here as well. Right? Anyone who got the final matrix? Alright, so k is equal to 3 I'm trying. And that means this row is as it is. Minus 3, minus 2, 0, infinity 7. And the third one, 2, 1, 12 and 10. All these are same. Right? So now this is 0, this is 0, 0 and 0. And then 1 to 2. So 1 to 1, 1 to 3 and 3 to 2. 1 to 3 and 3 to 2. So minus 2. So if you see, now this guy became minus 2. Alright? This is what? Distance between 1 to 2. So we considered 3 vertices now. Okay? This became minus 2 or minus 1. Okay, minus 2 it will become. Okay? Considering vertex 3. Okay? Or you can say, instead of vertex 3 now, you can say one more thing. All the paths with length equal to 3. Okay? This considering all the paths with length equal to 3. This is also what you can say instead of 3. Right? Just give me a moment. All right. So 3 length paths. 1 to 4. 1 to 4 is 1 to 3 and 3 to 4. So 1 to 3 would be what? 1 to 3 is minus 3 and 1 to 3 and 3 to 4. 1 to 3 and 3 to 4. 3 to 4 is what? 12. So minus 3 and 12 is 9. So this will reduce to 9. Okay. Then you have 1 to 5. 1 to 3 and 3 to 5. 1 to 3, 3 to 5. 3 to 5 is 10. Minus 3 and 10 is 7. So this all again becomes 7. So minus 3 part is included now. Okay. Then 2 to 1. 2 to 3, 3 to 1. 2 to 3, 3 to 1. So minus 2 and plus 2, 0. So this is modified now. Now 2 to 4 I have to identify. 2 to 3, 3 to 4. 2 to 3, 3 to 4 is what? 12. So 10. Now this is infinity, so 10. Now 2 to 5. 2 to 3, 3 to 5. 2 to 3, 3 to 5. 3 to 5 is what? 10. So this is again 8. Alright. Now 4 to 1. 4 to 3, 3 to 1. 4 to 3 is infinity. So this will not change really. Infinity, infinity 4. And what? 5 to 3. 5 to 3 is 7. Yeah, this might change. So 5 to 1 is 5 to 3, 3 to 1. 5 to 3, 7. 3 to 1 is 2. 7 plus 2 is 9. So this is 9. 5 to 2. 5 to 3 and 3 to 2. This is 5 to 3 and 3 to. Yeah. So 5 to 3 and 3 to 2. 7 plus 1, 8. Yeah, this also changed. Now 5 to 4. 5 comma 4 is 5 to 3 and 3 to 4. 5 to 3, and 3 to 4. So this is 12 plus 9 is 19. Did you get K3 is equal to this? 3 length paths. Alright, so I have two more things. Quickly, I'll try to do it quickly, okay? And I'll try and not speak and quickly fill up the values. I need the answer to explain one thing. So 1 to 2, 1 to 4, 4 to 2. Minus 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 4 to 3, 4 to 3. This is minus 3 again, 1 to 5. 1 to 4, 4 to 5. 4 to 5 is 4. 9 plus 4 is 13, and this is 7, so this is still less. Alright, so 2 to 1, 2 to 5, 2 to 4, 4 to 1. 2 to 4, this value, and now 4 to 1 is infinity, so this will not change. Okay, 2 to 3, 2 to 4, and 4 to 3. 4 to 3 is infinity, this will also not change. And 2 to 5, 2 to 4, 4 to 5. 4 to 5 is 10, so this is also 8. The best value, modified. 3 to 1, 3 to 2 and 2 to 1. 3 to 4 and 4 to 1. 3 to 4 is 0. 3 to 4 is 12. And 4 to 1 is infinity. This is 2. 3 to 4, 4 to 2. 12, infinity, 1. And 3 to 5, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 16. So 16, this is 10, already modified. So now 5. 5 plus 1, 5 to 1. 5 to 4, 4 to 1. 5 to 4, 19. Plus 4 to 1. 4 to 1 is infinity. So this is nothing, 9. 5 to 4, 4 to 2. 5 to 4, 4 to 2. This is again 8. This will also be 7. Okay. Now last one I'll draw. Sometimes this becomes a little boring because you are doing the same thing over and over again. Feels like it is boring, but can't help it. This is how the algorithm will work. So they'll not give you in the exam, they'll give you maximum 4 to 5 vertices, not more than that. If I'll copy as it is. 10, 4, 0, 9, 8, 7, and 19. This is 0, this is 0, this is 0, and this is 0. Now 1 to 2. 1 to 5, this is 5. 1 to 5, 5 to 2. 1 to 5 is what? 7. And 5 to 2 is 8. No, minus 2 is better. 1 to 5, 5 to 3. 5 to 3 is 7. 7 plus 7, no, 14. Minus 3 is better. 1 to 5, 5 to 4. 9 is better. So 2 to 5, 5 to 1. 2 to 5, where is 2 to 5? 8. 5 to 1 is 9. 17. 0 is better. 2 to 5, 5 to 3. 2 to 5, 8. 5 to 3 is 7. 15. Minus 2 is better. Then these two are added. 10 is better. Okay. Then 3 to 1. 3 to 5, 5 to 1. 3 to 5 is this. 5 to 1. So this is 19. No, 2 is better. Now 5 to 2. 1 is better. 12 and okay, 3 to 4 I have to check. 3 to 4 is 3 to 5 and 5 to 4. 5 to 4. No, 12 is still better. Right? Now here we'll have modifications, I believe. Okay. So 4 to 1 is what? 4 to 5, 5 to 1. 4 to 5 is 4. 5 to 1 is this. This becomes 13. Okay. And this becomes 12. And this becomes 11. And this is what we have. Are you getting this answer? Finally. The last one, this one. Please check and tell me. Alright. Now let me just run one more time what is going to happen. One more time. One more time. Okay. Now if I run one more time. So let me take 6 length path now. Okay. So let me take k is equal to I don't have 6. So what I'll do is just give me a moment. Let me start with 1 again. Okay. Let me start with 1 again. Okay. So from here, let me start with 1 again. So basically my thing is what I'm claiming is if there is a negative edge weight cycle na, if there in this all these length represents 5 length path or 6 length path and all. So if I take one more thing, okay, that will give me 6 length path. So now what I'm claiming is if there is a negative edge weight cycle, then one of the values will be modified. Okay, one of the values will be modified. So I'll take again for k equal to 1. Okay, so from let's calculate from this matrix. Let's calculate k equal to 1. So 1 to 1. So this will be not modified. 9 and 7. This will also remain same. 0, 0, 2, 13 and 9. Alright. Okay. So one way is you can try to build this matrix. Okay. Let me just draw it. 2 to 1 and 1 to 2. This will be 0. 2 to 1 and 1 to 1 to 2. So if we see over here, okay, let me just see. See, this is what 2 to 1, 2 comma 2, na 2 to 1 and 1 to 2. Okay, so if we see it, 2 to 1 is what 0, 1 to 2 is 2. So this is becoming minus 2. So this has reduced. Is this clear? I did not check it early, but if I drew the next one, this should not have happened, right? So this has reduced, correct? So this means what? This means that there is a negative edge weight cycle which is even reducing after 5 length paths. Because see, you have 5 vertices total. The maximum cycle that you can have is a 5 length cycle. There won't be a 6 length cycle, correct? But now since the weights are even reducing, that means you are running it more than 5 times. So that means what? That means that this is going beyond that. And hence we have a negative edge weight cycle. This is one way to find if there is a negative edge weight cycle using Floyd-Warshall or not. Second way, I'll tell you, when you get your final answer, in this final answer, if you have a negative value, these values, since these are negative values, you can say definitely we have a negative edge weighted cycle. Okay, so that means from 1 to 2, if you go a 5 length path, you will get total sum of the weights as negative. This means from 1 to 2, there is a negative edge weight cycle. Similarly, from 1 to 3 and from 2 to 3. Are these 2 points clear to everyone? There are 2 ways to read. That's why I gave you this question actually. While I was making your notes, I forgot this point. Okay, that's why I wanted to do this question in class maybe. Okay. So this means, so this provides you a order V cube algorithm to find whether a given, your given graph has negative edge weight cycles or not. Okay, negative edge weight cycles you have to find. You don't have to find negative edge weight. That can be done with Dijkstra's algorithm. Okay, so This will be the answer, and this is how you can try and identify negative edge weight cycles. Okay, so small modification has to be done. Either you can run it one more time and see if some value is getting affected, or whatever final answer you get, just do a search in all the values in that matrix and check if any negative value is being formed. Okay, because k equal to 5 means one thing, that all those distances are actually 5 length path distances. Okay, so that means if the sum is turning out to be a negative one, what this is meaning is that you have a negative edge weighted cycle in your graph. All right. So anyone having any doubts in this? If not, then we'll go to the time complexity part. We'll check the time complexity for the algorithm. Okay. All right. So now the time complexity is very simple. It is what, see, we are running three loops. See, one matrix. From one matrix, you're trying to obtain the other matrix, right? So you're trying to solve for each value inside or each element inside that matrix. That is what v square operations per matrix, and those you're trying to create how many matrices? You're trying to create v matrices, correct? So that means v into b square, which is what, v cube. So v cube will be the time complexity for the Floyd-Warshall algorithm. Okay. Now space complexity is also what? We have v matrices in total, right? We are using the previous matrix to generate the new matrix. So this means we are creating v such matrices. Size of each matrix is what? Order of v square. V order of v square. So v matrices into order of v square will become order of v cube, right? So this will be the time complexity for, is the space complexity for Floyd-Warshall algorithm. All right. Now I want to ask one point. Can you modify the algorithm in such a way so that we can reduce either time complexity or space complexity? Any modification that you can think of? Any modification to reduce? Chalo, don't forget about time. Can you reduce space complexity? Tell me yes or no. Can you reduce this or not? If yes, how? If no, then that's fine. Yes, yes, Gayatri. So that's the logic. See, whenever you're trying to calculate the current matrix, you're only using the previous matrix. And this pattern, if you would have observed, now I was solving using this pattern only. Okay. So I wanted to give you all of you a hint that this is one thing that you can use to reduce the space complexity. So all you need is the current graph, okay, and the previous one, okay. That these two things are all you need. So you can do it in 2v square space complexity. Hence, the space complexity can be reduced to order of v square instead of order of v cube. Okay, so there is no need to maintain v matrices for Floyd-Warshall algorithm. Okay, this is the reduced space complexity, and this is the uh, comparison I did before I taught you the algorithm. This is the comparison. Okay, so this time complexity is when you're using adjacency matrix. Okay, e log e, right? Adjacency matrix, e log e. All right, so any doubts to anyone in Floyd-Warshall's algorithm? Any doubts? All right. So I don't think there is enough time to start another algorithm. So what I'll do is in remaining class now, I'm not sure if everyone tried that problem or not. The one that I shared on the discussion group. So we'll try that problem. Who all tried this problem? Four dices are rolled. The outcome is defined as the sum as the number of times each of the numbers 1 to 6 appear. For example, two sixes and one five is an outcome. Okay? So all three is another outcome. You have to find the total number of outcomes. Anyone who understood this problem? Something like simple. You are throwing four dices. Okay? There's a small mistake in the problem. Okay? Please understand this. Okay? Let's say one outcome is coming as 2, 2, 3, and 5. Okay? The other outcome is coming as 2, 3, 2, and 5. Okay? So now, according to the problem, these two outcomes are considered as same. Okay, these are not two individual values. These two are same. So what the problem is saying, we are not worried about the arrangement. Okay, in which the dices are coming. All we need is what different kind of possible outcomes are there. Okay, something like 2, 2, 2, and 5. These are different. These two are different from each other. Is the problem statement clear to everyone? Do you want to give it a try or should I tell the solution directly? I'm not sure how many tried. See, Gayatri, you were telling me that, sir, you can give us PNC problems. But when I share, you guys don't respond. That's the problem, right? It's a very good problem. I can't start the next dynamic programming algorithm. I mean, DP problem now. So we'll do the next one on Sunday. So meanwhile, just try this problem. Just give it a shot. Take 2-3 minutes. Try to find the solution for this. Okay. Gayatri, did you get the solution? Alright. So let me just take an empty slide. Just give me a moment. Okay, see. Okay, Gayatri, you can tell me the solution later, okay? On WhatsApp, we can discuss what solution you got. I want to just check if you get the right one or not. See, now what the question is saying, four dices are rolled. Arrangement doesn't matter, okay? Arrangement doesn't matter. So one way I can get numbers is I can get 1111, 2222, 3333, and so on, right? These are all four. All four are same, okay? So how many such structures will be present? 61, all four, yeah? Because what you do is, see, they are saying single arrangement. So what you do is, out of 6, you select one and then you arrange it. So 61. All right. Next is what? Next is, let's say the structure is like 3 one kind, okay, and one kind, okay. So now what you do is, first of all, you will select two na, because something like I need what, 3 3 3 and 1, okay. This is I'm talking about. All right. So I'll need two numbers out of 6. So I'll do this in 62 ways. Now, either I can have 3331 or 1113. Correct. So I can have two arrangement or two possible ways to arrange those numbers. Arrange those numbers with different counts. So every two numbers which is selected will have two possible such arrangements. 61 and this first two terms are clear to everyone. All right. Now imagine one more. One more would be 2 comma 1 comma, or let's not go at 2 comma 1. So 2 comma 2. Okay. 2 comma 2 is like 4433. Okay. So this also you select two numbers. Okay. But now their arrangement way na will be one only. And the reason is, see, if you say 4422 or you say 2244, both are the one and the same thing na. So that's why this 2 will not be carried forward in the third term. All right. But here it was different because the count was different. Here you have three counts of 3 and one count of 1. And next time you have three counts of 1 and one count of 3. Here you have the same thing. Okay. Now, one another possible arrangement is what? It is 2 comma 1 comma 1. Correct. So what you're doing is you're selecting three numbers first and placing them like 3, 3, 6, and 5. Okay. Or you can get 5, 5, 6, and 3, or you get 6, 6, 5, and 3. Clear? So first you select three numbers, that is 63 into you'll take what? You'll get three possible ways to assign these numbers. These are just counts, na? So three possible ways to assign these counts. So this is what? 63 into 3. Correct? Now the last one is when all four are different. Okay. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like this. So what you do is, for that you select four numbers out of 6 and then just place them. Each will be assigned count 1. Now can you add all these? And these are the possible outcomes. There's nothing which will not cover. Uh, I mean, there's no extra case apart from these. Yeah. Sanjeev, can you add these? This is 6. This is 30. So 6 plus 30 The last one is 62 is 15 plus 63 into 3. 63 is 6 into 5 into 4, 20. 23 is 60. Plus the last one is 64. 64 is 62, which is 15. Okay. So this 60 plus 30 is 120 and 126. 126 is the answer. Sanjeev, is this clear to you? So I think you tried with this method also, right? 1 plus x2 plus x3 up till x6 is equal to 4, right? And you did not get the answer. I am not really sure what are we missing in this thing. Okay. A few other students also asked me this question. I'm not really sure. I have to still spend some time to identify why this will not give me the right answer. But this is actually not giving. This is giving less cases. So I don't really know what are the cases which we are not counting in this method. Okay. This I have to check. This will give you n plus r minus 1. So that means 6 plus 9 C3 is it is giving you. 9 into 8 into 7 by 3 into 2. So this gives you 3 and 4. So this is what 21 into 4. 84 this is giving you. But the original answer is 126. I'm not really sure why this is happening. I have to check what are the cases we are not counting in this. Okay. Yeah. So this was an interesting problem. And yeah, and a tough one. Definitely a tough problem. All right. So any doubts to anyone in Floyd Warshall or in this question? All right. So one more thing is that we have three more problems. One is coin change problem. The next one is we'll see Tower of Hanoi. Okay. They've not asked any question on Tower of Hanoi, but it is like it's important that if you know that problem. And I think there's one more. Yeah, sum of subset problem. Okay, that's an NP complete problem. Sum of subsets, but we'll see that problem as well. So these three dynamic problems are left, and after that, I have some gate questions for you all. So on dynamic programming, those will solve. Okay. So probably next two classes, maybe I will wind up with dynamic programming. So once we'll do that, then immediately after that, we'll start with compiler. Okay. And most probably we'll finish your compiler. I think then we have next week still we have three classes for computer science. But after that, we'll have two classes for compiler per week. Okay. Now, one thing I want to ask everyone, please tell me, do you guys prefer studying like compiler or my classes in morning time, evening time, or do you prefer night? Because see, I see that most of you are tired, and since the recordings are regular, you say okay, half of the class I can watch in recordings. That's all right. But if there is no audience for me to teach, then I also don't feel like teaching. Correct? It's like I don't know how much stress I should put in one topic. I'll just run it once and then I'll go. So why I'm asking this is, do you want me to schedule compiler on Saturdays and Sundays, Saturday evening and Sunday uh, after morning? Guys, please tell me, Saturday evening or Sunday morning? No, no. See, we have Saturday evening and Sunday morning slots for computer science. So what I'm saying is, then Monday to Friday you'll not have any class for compiler, and Saturdays and Sundays you'll have classes for compiler. Is that fine with you? Saturday evening, Sunday morning, both classes for compiler will happen on weekends. If that's fine with you, you can tell me. Because see, I need everyone to be present. At least you four, I need all of you to be present. Because compiler, and one more thing, very important, for compiler, there will be no handwritten notes provided. Okay. So whatever I'll teach in the class, whatever I'll write in the class, those are the notes that you'll have. Or you have the recordings. Okay. There are no handwritten notes for compiler. So you will have to make notes during the class or after, you can watch the recording afterwards and then make your notes. So there are no handwritten notes for compiler. Okay, remember that.